K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
Game on, where progressives fear us and rhinos tremble. Welcome to the political jungle. I'm JD.
This is Stacey. No one is safe. No one is spared.
Lock up the children.
And the old folk.
Welcome to the world of liberservative conservatarians.
Let me get this straight here, Edith. That JD and Stacey are going to do a whole hour radio show that's not about the presidential primary. Is that even possible, JD and Stacey? You bet your ass it is, baby. Tuesday night, April 12, 2016, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Game on, part of that Conservative Commandos radio network. JD and Stacey here on that K98 Talk. Welcome back to all our political geeks, freaks, and back alley sneaks. Everybody right now within the sound of my voice, you know exactly what to do. Get over to that K98Talk.org. Get in that chat room. Say hello to the smartest, drunkest, oive schmear from the pictures they send us nakedest listening political radio audience in the business. Say hello to Stacey. Join the conversation, baby. JD and Stacey, yo radio acid trip. Hi, you, baby.
I'm doing all right.
I thought you'd like this on a Tuesday, right?
I need something to wake up.
Watch your left cheek, baby. I put a tack on that chair. Tonight, JD and Stacey are going to give you a break from the presidential primary. Tonight, we're going to be talking Chinese spies, Hillary, a general, Paul Ryan about to get John Boehner by a guy who's pulling from Romney and Trump's playbook, and he's a conservative. Oy vey schmear. Is that possible, JD and Stacey? Absolutely. We're going to introduce you to him. Nonsense of the world and more. Remember, guys, we're not just here live Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that game on that K98 Talk. We do it again live Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sunday mornings here on K98. We're live 11 a.m. Game on again. Shift gears a little bit, baby. We're here on your mainstream media hangover. Then Friday, 5 p.m. drive time. Part of that Conservative Commandos Radio Network. We got a little show and a little media market called Philadelphia. Oh, by the way, did I mention we are the drive time lead into Yahoo Sports? Big whoop. Want to fight about it? That's on that WNJC 1360 AM, part of that Conservative Commandos Radio Network. And everybody right now, Trumpkins, hand off Schmeckel, here on radio. Hand off Schmeckel, here on the radio. Everybody within our listening voice right now, you guys have been so good to us. You know, the last year has been absolutely unbelievable. Every week we're growing and getting bigger between the downloads, the platforms. We're up on that 1360 AM. JD and Stacey kids have an opportunity. We are trying to negotiate to be up in that Dallas market within the next few weeks. Any of you out there right now who have any contacts in that Dallas media area, know any businesses who may want to advertise, get over to that Rick, R-I-C-K, at K98talk.org. Let him know, baby. Get us up in Dallas. They're going to be drafting us with that 4th-round pick. And then after the show, Hooples, you're sticking around from that boss, that Ricky Ticky Tavi, Rick Robinson, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Monday through Friday on the Spark Radio Network here on that K98 Talk. And then after the show, Hooples, not during, you go over to Spreaker.com, hashtag JD and Stacey, JDANDSTACEY, baby, for a catalog of everything we've been doing here. How you doing this evening, darling?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. Could use a little more sleep, but small animals don't allow for that.
Why? See, folks, this is what happens when you have a radio wife. A radio wife is no different than your regular wife. You sit there, you come home. In my case, I come on the air. How you doing, darling? Good evening. And I get trapped. I get the small animal keeping me up all night comment. But if I walk through the door, kids, I'm going to be in all sorts of troubles. And no. I am not taking your bait, young lady. It's not going to happen.
It's a puppy.
It's not going to happen. What?
It's a puppy.
Oh, the puppy be keeping you up.
Yeah.
Is it a purebred or is it a...
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
The latter.
Good. Those are the only kind I have. They're giving you a house, all that sorts of lovey, tough, baby.
Yeah, right now she's just trying to own the place. And I didn't realize how many things there are, like, around the house that were within a puppy's reach. So I'm just constantly after her all day. Taking
look at
things
it this way.
out of her mouth. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. It's like having a toddler all over again.
Anywhere that's a pain in the ass for you to reach is definitely where they're going to be able to get at. Oh, for those of you, there's some breaking news on Missouri delegates for Trump.
I'm over here now. You see, that's a professional. You didn't even see what I just did you, honey? I'm over here now. I was over there.
Are they stealing his delegates again?
No, we're not doing that on this show. This is just a breaking news.
Another guy comes up here, he gets so
let Dice do his thing.
Drops the mic, trips over, not me. I'm over there, and now I came over here, but then I back up, now I'm over here. You see what I'm saying?
I think we'll have more on that Thursday because I think in this case, I think he may have learned how to start playing the delegate games. It sounded like he may have scored a couple in that Missouri, baby. So now, shock of the world. All right. One of the things that Stacey and I have, unfortunately, had to get away from just with the news cycles is what's really going on in the rest of the world. And it's times like these. I don't know if you saw this schmeckled-faced jerk-off or boo-boo. He had an interview with Chris Wallace over the weekend, and it's times like this when you have the Stacey retired the circus. For what's your favorite term for this now?
The dumpster fire.
Okay.
Somebody played that on me today and calls it the Trumpster fire.
So basically, when you have a campaign that you have like this that's so media driven, and there's so many stupid storylines instead of the meat and potatoes of it, and they're trying to drag out and make this big contest between Hillary and Uncle Speedo, and it's usually at times like this then the rest of the world really seems to go to hell, and a lot of what you're not paying attention to kind of slips on by. And one of the things that caught my eye, especially because as we go into this story, this gentleman has been held in, Stacey, did you read it the same way? He's been held in protective custody, I think, for over the last 8 months. And it's a story really that's just come to my attention. It's actually the first major espionage case in the United States Navy since 1985. In 85, I forget who the guy in 85 was, John Walker, who had been passing secrets actually since 67 to the Soviets from the nuclear subfleet. In this particular case, we're speaking about a gentleman, Lieutenant Commander Edward C. Lynn, 39 years old, which of course. Now, folks, what is different about this is not
Durka.
No. And what also gets lost in the sauce, because Boo Boo never wants to speak about it, is that, our enemies in the world are not just ISIS. ISIS is a big, gigantic pain in the ass.
And they're not really enemies. They're just misunderstood.
Oh, well, if we get them all jobs and make sure... I hope the Secret Service... the Secret Service should take me away just for what I'm thinking about this schmeckle-face jerk-off right now. But anyway, we digress. So you have the Chinese and the Russians from a superpower point of view really are, and if you listen to the Pentagon's, their last analysis of it, and the same's been said publicly by the Joint Chiefs, China and Russia basically are the United States' two biggest, and I think you would call them imminent threats because each of them have nuclear capability that they could unleash at any moment. Now, what gets lost in this is the Chinese have been building these little islands in the South China Sea.
Why are they building and they just put airplanes there?
Why are they building islands in the South China Sea, Teddy and Stacey? Just to Stacey's point, is because what they've created in basically what's supposed to be international waters, not sovereign Chinese waters, are faux man-made airstrips. Why would they do that, Teddy and Stacey? I don't know, Bob.
It's to land planes.
Exactly. And what happens there, the same influence that Obama is withdrawing the United States from in the Middle East, like it or not, it does serve a strategic purpose. The Chinese are actually exerting in their territorial waters. So let's go back to Edward C. Lynn, 39, who, to make this a little more complicated, kids, was born in Taiwan, emigrated to the U.S. when he was 14 years old, and actually became a naturalized citizen in 2008. So for those of you out there who are like, man, listen, I'm just talking about those illegal immigrants there, Bob, our system of trying to vet people into this melting pot is a disaster. It's broken from top to bottom. Am I disparaging every foreign national who comes here to serve in the U.S. military and then becomes naturalized? Absolutely not. But why should we be concerned about Mr. Lynn? Because Mr. Lynn has been charged with transporting secret information out of the country without permission and then lied about his whereabouts when he returned to duty. The charging documents also allege he successfully committed espionage twice and attempted espionage on 3 other occasions. Why is this guy so important? Because he worked with some of the most sensitive signals intelligence that the country has. What signal intelligence, JD and Stacey? Basically how we try to invisibly communicate with ourselves and get around our enemies. Now, Stacey, what was your take on this, and are you surprised it's not getting much more run in the media?
I'm surprised it's not getting a little more run in the media because generally espionage is a pretty big deal. When you stop and think about things that have gone on with China just in the last, 12 to 15 months, we had the big hack that in Hollywood that was blamed on China. We know technologically that they are capable of doing those kinds of things. There are rumors out there that the Chinese were one of the folks that might have gotten into the Empress of Chappaqua email. Acts of war are not always overt, and certainly what we're seeing out of the Middle East and ISIS and jihadis is much more overt. I think China is doing things a little more quietly but certainly asserting their dominance in the world. I mean, even when you look at things like the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which we're going to talk about a little bit in the next segment, China has asserted itself on the world banking scene in ways that we don't know that we're really going to be able to compete with. They certainly have restricted us in significant ways in terms of business ownership and other things within their country, but pretty much have free enterprise within ours. So when you look at what they've been able to do to assert themselves, the fact that this is happening, I think, should be a bigger deal than it actually is.
But
I mean, if somebody on our end is selling military and intelligence secret to the Chinese, the fact that they're a willing buyer in and of itself is concerning.
Well, there's a problem with this. The China considers Taiwan a part of one China. We consider Taiwan a separate two-China free republic, which we guarantee with the safety, it's either our 7th Fleet or our 5th Fleet in the Aegis missile system, that we guarantee Taiwan's freedom with. There are some nexes in here that I find very interesting, and I think it's important for people to realize how the United States looks at its national security and how the Chinese do. So the Chinese have always looked at things empirically in 50, 100, 150-year kind of blocks and movements, and okay, this is what we need to go through to get to this end game. The United States political process basically puts on national security up for popular election every 4 to 8 years. So you get this kind of mishmash. So you have this guy, Edward C. Lin, who became a lieutenant commander. He was an officer. He enlisted in the Navy in 1999. He held a variety of positions over the 17 years he was in, including working on the staff of an assistant secretary of the Navy from 2012 to 2014. He served on the Norfolk-based aircraft carrier Eisenhower from 09 to 010. What I found interesting is when you started delving into who he is charged with passing secrets to, you have several outlets, including the U.S. Naval Institute, referring to him passing them to China, but it always comes back to maybe they're tacitly passing things to Taiwan. I didn't understand that. One, is there an ally? Yes, I understand that there is espionage that goes on about allies. But now, why is this so important? There are two things that jump out at this that I think draw heavy parallels to Kankles and the Empress of Chappaqua and the ills that she's under right now with the FBI. So this is from a Reuters article. A heavily redacted Navy charge sheet twice accused the suspect of communicating secret information and 3 times of attempting to do so with, quote, with intent or reason to believe it would be used to the advantage of a foreign nation, unquote. I want you to think about that sentence. With intent or reason to believe it would be used to the advantage of a foreign nation. From what we've been hearing about the investigation, the first tie-in that I see, I don't see that reading of the espionage that he's being charged with any different than the pay-for-play that they're looking in from direct quid pro quo donations into the Clinton Foundation while Kankles was Secretary of State, followed up by something beneficial for the nation who made the deposit. The second thing that I thought was a great parallel, here's the charge. Lin allegedly transported secret information out of the country without permission and then lied about his whereabouts when he returned to duty. The charging documents allege he successfully committed the espionage twice and attempted espionage on 3 other occasions. We only got about a minute and a half left here. I want to pick up with this a little bit on the other side with the similarity to the Petraeus case. How do you see this?
As far as what it has to do with potentially charging parallels to Hillary Clinton?
Do you see parallels to do you see parallels between the Lynn Clinton Petraeus cases?
Well, I mean, if indeed, pay for play, and again, there's a lot of talk about it and certainly things that would lead you to believe that. I've heard of no smoking guns. I'm not saying there needs to be one for me to believe that it happened. Whether or not you ever find documented proof, but certainly if people were taking money in exchange for doing things from a foreign policy standpoint that would benefit a foreign nation, then of course that has a parallel. I'm not sure that it's exactly the same as giving away military secrets. I think espionage is a little bit more focused than that.
Coming back on the other side, we're going to pick up and finish this off a little bit of how this ties into David Petraeus. We're going to wake Stacey up during the break. As God is my witness. Let's see. Maybe this will do. We got breaking audio of Hillary.
Oh, that woman. Got a mouth like an outboard motor. All the time.
You know what she really hates before we go to break? The creepy DJ edit.
Here we come. Walking down the street.
Shamik, what are you stupid as a crowd out there?
Don't worry about it.
That's right, kids. Go through your phone book. Find everybody in Dallas that you know. Talk to them. Get over to Rick, R-I-C-K, at K98Talk.org. JD and Stacey, Diamond Dave taking us out. Coming right back on Game On.
One break coming up.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan. This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
The feeling most people get when they hear Barack Obama's speech, I felt this thrill going up my leg. I don't have that too often.
Steady.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. Ricky Robinson, host of America Off the Rails, will tackle the important issues facing America today as he tries to keep America from coming off the track. Get ready to hear the truth every Monday through Friday starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, here on K98Talk.com and the Spark Radio Network.
Welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy.
Are you conservative in a world of liberal?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not alone. Hey, I'm Daniel Stafford, host of the Stafford Voice, and I'd like to invite you to tune in each Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern, where I'll break down the events of the week, and together we'll learn about how they affect you. So, sit back and get ready for the good, the bad, and the ugly of talk radio right here on K98 Talk.
From the Vikings of Norway to my home down south to Washington, D.C., I've been around. I've seen it all, and I've come out on top. You better beware, for all you know, the bell tolls for you. Enter the bell tower or watch your step. 8 p.m. Thursdays, K98 Talk.
Welcome back. JD and Stacey here. Game On, your Radio Jonestown. Everybody drink that Kool-Aid real deep, baby, and get over to K98Talk.org right now. Get in that chat room. Say hello to Stacey. Tell Ron to send out the naked pictures of a schmear. JD and Stacey, Game On, part of that conservative Commandos radio network here at K98 Talk. Remember, guys, we're not just here live Tuesday nights, 9 a.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Thursday, Tuesday, Fridays 5, Sundays 11. We're part of the conservative something. There's a Ricky Robinson. There's a Rick Trader. Spreaker.com. We're going up in Dallas. I can't keep track of everything. Oh, Jesus. Are you back?
I'm back.
You know what? I was sitting here. We haven't used this in such a long time. For those of you who are new to the show, we're going to bring Stacey back from the great beyond, baby. We got a whole. I have a whole mama. I have a whole mama folder on this soundboard. Let's see. What's this? That's not working. What's this?
Dreams of you all through my head.
Okay, terrific.
I'm feeling a little five-finger death punch tonight, and I think that's too much for the audience. So.
Let's see what.
No. Let's just tie this guy up so we can talk about.
Let's see. Oh, this
Speaker Ryan's challenger.
This is just like five-finger death punch. This is exactly like it.
No, it's not.
Deo.
No.
Oh boy! What on a completely unrelated note, we're gonna get into nailing. On a completely unrelated note, when did Harry Belafonte go from singing about bananas and pina coladas into this just detestable socialist, angry ass bag? Have you ever seen him? You know what he is? He's the guy who shows up to bitch about something right before Danny Glover does.
I haven't been paying that a lot. I haven't been paying Mr. Belafonte a lot of attention. Sorry.
You know Belafonte's at a rally if you get out.
Hey, where are the white women at?
One of the things that I wanted to go into just real quickly are the similarities of what I saw with Lieutenant Commander Edward C. Lynn, John Walker back, who was the last Navy guy that was charged with this document facilitation as well as espionage, and what happened with Petraeus and Hillary Clinton. And one of the things that I go back to, the narrative and the meme has been made up that, Petraeus gave his documents to his mistress, they were in the middle of it, and he's like, hey, you want to see something sexy, baby? Here's a classified document. No, she was his biographer that he was giving background information to, who subsequently became his mistress. Why do I bring this up? Stacey, did you find it odd at all that in every article that you go into about the naval flight officer that was charged with espionage, they bring up the fact that he was also charged with prostitution and something else, patronizing prostitutes and committing adultery? And it goes back to that really put up a red flag with me, because it is so Alinskyite and so Clintonite to you destroy the accuser. Go back to what happened with the Monica Lewinsky crowd and the people that came out. And regardless of what you thought about Linda Tripp, I mean, it's disgusting, but the woman had to produce a dress with schmegma on it because she was being vilified and told that she was a liar. This almost smacks of a pattern, but Hillary's going to be exempt from that kind of embarrassment.
Again, as I take and I look at what the code actually says, I'm looking for the quote now, so I apologize. It's giving secrets away that affect national security or the military. When you read it, I don't think I'm not seeing the tie back to Clinton for that.
No, but
if she were engaged in quid pro quo,
that's one of that is one of the things the FBI. This investigation, according to FBI sources, branched and broadened up and took a broader scope, because this was not just to my mind, the nexus is there because there are two parts of the charge that she fits completely. Let's go back to the intent. She clearly has an email where she sent in, I forget, there was a male lower staffer being like, listen, lady, I can't send this to Gmail. It's not classified, or the classified fax wasn't working, or something to that effect. And she told him, yeah, go ahead and send it anyway. So that shows knowledge and intent. The quid pro quo is through the Clinton Foundation. And I think in the coming months, I think that this is going to be very interesting, whether she's the nominee, whether she gets elected, she doesn't get elected. And I think that now with what you see going on in the presidential primary process, with everybody screaming about delegates, and with this, this country can only withstand a whitewash of please don't believe your lying eyes, until everybody grabs some pitchforks and torches and starts heading up that mountain, baby. But kids.
Led by Roger Stone. Oh, I'm sorry.
Trumpkins. Handel Schmeckel, here on Radio Time. Handel Schmeckel, here on Radio Time for Trumpkins. Trumpkins, you're going to love us so much. You're going to love us so much because Trumpkins are really, really angry people, right? So what Stacey and I have decided is there is so much to be against in the political world right now. We don't want to become one of those, what are we going to do today? We're going to bitch about this. We're going to continue to go nuts against everybody. But we want to continue being for certain things. That's why we wanted to talk about this espionage story I found very interesting. I hadn't really heard it spoken a lot about. And Stacey had an absolutely phenomenal gentleman she wants to introduce to everybody here in segment 2.
Well, I mean, I just read the story. I don't have a gentleman, but basically this kind of goes back to one of my, it does go back to a rant, because I think, what you and I learned and have the great pleasure of picking the brains of people like Jay Cost about, right, is what really goes on behind the scenes, because they're a little more plugged into the DC circles and that sort of thing. And if you read Jay Cost, he will very much make the case that the problem is not necessarily with the presidency. I mean, in terms of what actually happens in the country and the laws we're subjected to and the regulatory environment, that is really the province of Congress. And it's cronyism and factionalism within the congressional bodies that are the real problem that most Americans are feeling the pain of. It's not just President Obama, but when you go back and read Jay Cost's history of Obamacare in his book, A Republic No More, your eyes kind of get open to the fact, well, wait a minute, this is probably why the Founding Fathers thought this should never be a career.
Well, just one point. Back to Jay's point. Let me ask a question, because it was fascinating the way that you phrased that, because you're absolutely right, correct on what Jay has been writing about and the way that he's been writing about it. If you look at what we're talking about here, and we're getting into basically the challenger to Paul Ryan, do you think that the right, and conservatives in particular, have actually heeded calls and writing such as Jay's? It's just that we're in a moment where what we're going to talk about today is there are charlatans everywhere that everybody said, oh, wow, Congress is important. I believe in this guy, and he's done nothing. Or do you think that conservatives are still too focused on POTUS and not Congress?
I think if you take a look at a certain segment of conservatives and conservative punditry, I think Levin, outside of the presidential cycle, tends to be much more focused on Congress. I think certainly his publication and the data that they keep on our various congressmen, senators, et cetera, in terms of their individual votes and where that would rank on a scale that's created of conservative ideals. I mean, I think there's some recognition of that, but the statistic that kills me every single time is we have all these angry people out there, okay? All these angry people that are today supporting the publication of the home addresses of the Colorado GOP leaders because Trump got robbed. They're so angry that death threats are okay, but they can't be bothered to hold their own representatives and own congressmen and own senators accountable.
And who we're speaking about here in particularly is Paul. I'm not sure if it's Nealon or Nalen. If you all want to look him up on the intertubes, maybe it's Nehlen. And he's running for Paul Ryan's seat, and the story is absolutely fascinating because he is and by the way, for those of you who do not, please go over and check out conservativereview.com. Their research director is Rob Eno. Go follow him on that Twitter and that Facebook, baby. And also make sure that you check out some Levin TV. They have, what do they call them? Liberty Scores, correct, Stacey? At Conservative Review.
The Liberty Score.
You can go check Liberty Scores. You can go back. They'll go through major issues that these guys have voted on. Now, here we're speaking about particularly Nehlen challenging Paul Ryan. Who's Paul Ryan, Grady and Stacey? He's the Speaker of the House. He was also Mitt Romney's vice presidential pick when they lost to Boo-Boo. And Nehlen basically said it comes down to three priorities, being that he was a former supporter of Ryan.
Big-time supporter.
One, reclaiming the seat for Wisconsin's 1st District, and we the people, stopping Paul Ryan's cronyism and corruption. Now, this is a running theme that Nehlen, in one article in Conservative Review in an interview, and it's not a very long interview, Nehlen must speak about securing the border while enforcing existing immigration law. Shouldn't we know who's coming over our borders? And in another place, he calls it
Obama's lawless executive amnesty. And what I thought was brilliant about this is Stacey and I keep speaking about how people on the right don't know how to politic, and what we were speaking about in the presidential primary is Donald Trump is giving you idiots a roadmap, and he's a moron. And this guy Nealon seems to have tapped into that roadmap because he understands he understands what kind of an issue this is for everybody. It's how you speak to it. And this guy is a pretty big immigration hawk. But he's not talking about rapists and nonsense and all this other rhetoric that really doesn't serve you well. Now, he says, quote, if you look at – now, this I didn't know about Ryan. If you look at where Paul Ryan's – and this is again, Paul Nealon, his challenger speaking. If you look at where Paul Ryan's campaign cash is coming from and going into his coffers, 85% of it came from outside of his district, which is Wisconsin 1, and about 65% of it came from D.C. and Alexandria, Virginia. Stacey, I circled that, highlighted it, and you know what I put in quotes next to it? Eric Cantor. Those numbers right there scream Eric Cantor to me. The Ryan people should be a little concerned.
I think the Ryan people are a little bit concerned because they've already acknowledged the campaign, which would be highly unusual because Nealon just announced, when you take a look at J.D. Winteregg challenging Boehner when he was still in office, Boehner's game was he didn't even acknowledge him because why are you going to give your competitor press? Because he actually ended up steering press to Nealon when his folks did that. I think what really, if you read the full press on him, which I had an opportunity to do earlier today, to include Conservative Review and a few others, what really tipped him over the edge is Ryan's stance on TPP. And if you don't remember what TPP is, it's the Trade Promotion not Trade Promotion Authority, the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
The VP is such a VIP.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we keep the PC on the QT? Because if it leaks to the VC, you can end up in MIA, and then we'd all be put on KP.
Now you all understand TPP.
And what I like about Nealon, and I don't live in Wisconsin's 1st District, so it doesn't really matter. I can't vote for him. But what I like about him is he is a manufacturing guy, and this has been my criticism of Trump. This has been my criticism of Cruz to some extent. This has been not as bad because tariffs and protectionism are the worst for manufacturing. But here's a guy who actually gets jobs, manufacturing, and the impact that something like the Trans-Pacific Partnership would have on that particular industry within the U.S. He's brought jobs back to the United States from both Canada and Mexico, both working in a private equity firm and with his own manufacturing facility. He holds patents. He's an engineer. Started on the shop floor. He knows manufacturing from the bottom up. He understands skills. He understands trades. And what he's saying is absolutely true when he starts talking about free markets. Free markets is a simple exchange of you have something I want and I'm willing to give up something I value for it.
And it's
and everything that the government engages in is more forced trade or managed trade, and TPP is the biggest example of that we've seen. It is like NAFTA on steroids, and it's actually going to reduce the United States sovereignty in addition to affecting immigration, certification in certain industries. If you look at all of the associated things with the Trans-Pacific Partnership, it would just be an absolute nightmare for American manufacturing. And Nealon said, that Paul Ryan's support continues for that is really what put him over the edge to saying, I'm going to step up and challenge this man that he pounded signs into the ground for Paul Ryan.
Right, but what I think is most fascinating here is, we have a running theme on the show is that basically our people are always...
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
And we always go back to the fact that people on the right can't politic. It goes back to having 436,937 and a half idiots running for president to begin with in the first place, and nobody being able to pick up some of the biggest roadmaps and handoffs that they were. And what I found fascinating, and we're talking about Paul Nealon, who is actually challenging Paul Ryan for Wisconsin 1. There's a bunch of things about this race I find fascinating. We only got about a minute left here. One, Ryan is a very, very, very big target. It reminds me so much of Cantor, especially when you take a look at how establishment he had become after once being seen as a conservative rising star. The donation money outside of his own district also screams Cantor to me. But the two things that I found fascinating and why I tease the subject is there's a conservative who's taken a page out of Donald Trump and out of Mitt Romney's playbook is that, he speaks so hawkishly on immigration, but he speaks to it beautifully. And as a private equity guy, he doesn't run from it. He actually explains business.
He doesn't get up there and go, I'm huge and my schmeckle and my tiny hands and my gay picture that's going around with me in the white suit and the swan.
He doesn't do that. He comes up there. Here's some language in immigration that I thought was beautifully said. I'm an immigration hawk. This would get me. Quote, it's a huge issue for the nation overall, but it's also an issue for me and for this district because Milwaukee is a sanctuary city. Everybody running from a house seat can tie that to a close major city. Chicago, just under 45 minutes away, is a sanctuary city. And he explained this to the Conservative Review in an interview on Thursday. Shouldn't we know who's coming across our borders? Then when you take a look back to Stacey's point, how he was able to talk not only about manufacturing, having seen it from the ground up, but he's already got in place something that reminds me of a national message where he is not ashamed to talk about the jobs that he brought back here to America in that evil, evil private equity, baby. So everybody keep your eye out for him. Get over to the interwebs. Paulryan. I am so stupid. No, that's Paul Ryan.
You don't follow him.
His challenger is Paul Nehlen, Nehlen. Go check him out. Get over to his website. Check out his issue pages. And remember, kids, get over to conservativereview.com. Make it one of your daily reads. Check out Rob. Check out that Levin TV. I hear it might be around for a whole lot longer. Coming into the top of the 10 o'clock hour, closing out this show. We got some nonsense in the world. I got to look at it. I think there's Zimbabwe and a fatwa. And wherever there's a fatwa, there's
Durka.
Because they're looking for what, Scotcho?
Virgin.
Great. We're looking to pay some bills. JD and Stacey, game on. Part of that Conservative Commandos Radio Network. Coming back to you here in that K98 Talk.
Hey everybody, this is Jason, host of According to Me. I'd like to invite you to check out my show. It's a 2-hour show that lasts 60 minutes in...
Listen, I hate to interrupt, but one thing I can do is read off a script. Just say, let me be clear a lot. It works.
President Obama, I can handle this. It's a radio promo. I'm not green. I've done this before.
Did someone say green?
Now, Al Gore is here. Listen, I'm just trying to record a radio promo. Do you mind?
Now, do you say good things about me on the show?
No, not at all. But if it makes you feel any better, I rip on Republicans just as much.
The AM radio frequencies give off very high levels of radiation.
Look, my show is on the internet, which you invented. Can I just do my promo?
I got a pen. I can veto that, you know.
I know you got a pen. It's not a law. It's a radio promo. Listen, just listen to my show. Barack Obama and Al Gore hate it, so you're going to love it.
Here's an executive order. Don't listen to his show. He doesn't like me. He's racist. And he doesn't recycle either.
That's it. I'm done. It's According to Me, Wednesdays, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on K98 Talk.
I'm easy like Sunday morning.
Wondering why you're up early with us on a Sunday morning making a cocktail? News lately got you drinking? Hung over from the mainstream media by Sunday? We are, and we got you covered.
We sure do. We got your hangover cure for those weekly news blues. So sit back, top off your mimosa, and add some Baileys to that coffee.
Take a match to your copy of the New York Times. Light, funny, and oh yeah, news with booze.
And a lot of laughter.
Welcome to Bloody Marys and Broadsheets. If it's Sunday, it's Bloody Marys and Broadsheets.
We're your cure from your weekly news hangover.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com.
Welcome back. JD and Stacey here. Game On, part of that Conservative Commandos radio network on K98 Talk. Everybody right now, remember, every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, JD and Stacey be breaking down the levees of your mind here on that K98 Talk. Get over that K98Talk.org right now. Say hello to Stacey. Join the conversation. I don't know what's going on in there. The most charitable answer I got when I glanced in that chat room was like, it's a house party. So kid and play in there going crazy, baby. Remember, guys, catch us Friday, 5 p.m. drive time, Philadelphia. Big whoop. Oh, we lead into Yahoo Sports. Want to fight about it? I don't think so. Draft's coming up. Check out that WNJC 1360 AM. Remember, guys, if you're digging on some JD and Stacey, you love it on some gravy for your baby. Remember, guys, if you want to see us coming up in the Dallas market, reach out to Rick, R-I-C-K, at K98Talk.org. Let him know of any hooks that you might have in the Dallas media market. We got a couple of sponsors. We're looking for a couple of more. We're going to be taking the radio acid trip all over the country. Ain't that right, baby?
I hope so.
I hope so. Oh, my God. So at the end of the show, you feeling a little better, or you all...
I hate this place. Nothing works here. The medications don't work. I've been here for 7 years.
I will tell you, do you know what I just realized, being that we had a basically, you know, for what it's worth, a primary free show? You know what I really miss? Seriously?
What?
Boom, boom, boom. The equality of this pastrami sandwich is not liking coming to
Yeah, it's getting kind of nasty between Uncle Speedo and the Empress.
Well,
I mean, as nasty as two old folks can get fighting over some chocolate pudding, but
well, I mean, think about it though. You know, it's almost like your class. It's like a classic Western, or like the talkie movies when they had. Because here's Uncle Speedo. I mean, look, Uncle Speedo is.
Well, now here's the dumb thing. Hillary Clinton, I will release the transcripts of the speeches I gave to Wall Street if everyone does. Well, there's only two of you, and Bernie never gave one.
I did not give any speeches to Wall Street. However, they all want to kill me.
So, but I mean, just think about how awful. All right, here's Uncle Speedo.
Boom, boom, boom.
Now, think what you want about his asinine, insane policies, but Uncle Speedo, everybody wants to get high and drop acid with Uncle Speedo. He seems like a really, really, really nice old man. Then you got Hillary.
I didn't. Well, there was actually an article today that Bernie Sanders is the most likable candidate in the race. I'm like,
I love Bernie.
No,
like your crazy uncle. He'd be fun at a party until he started equitably dividing the nachos. I mean,
Stacey, how do you listen? How do you not?
I can't get mad at him. I just don't want him for my president.
How do you not just? And this is not politically or policy wise. They'll cut this clip 9 ways this Sunday and we'll be hung by it. But I mean, just from a personal point of view, how can you not like a really trippy Brooklyn Jew who moves up to Vermont?
I'm going to be mayor of
whatever the hell that one town in Vermont is. 9 people voted. I will run for senator. 47 white people voted for this tripped out cracker in 1942, and he's the last one standing. This wasn't even part of the third segment. It's just too good. It's just too good. You know that every day when he wakes up, first thing Bernie does is check his shorts because he's old, so you don't know. And the second thing you know, he looks in the mirror and goes, how the hell did I get here?
Well, I mean, they were actually having some interesting discussion today about his fans because there is a long history. Bernie's fans, most ardent supporters, do not like Miss Clinton at all. And, you know, there's a lot of talk about will they finally break the Democrat mold of not just falling in line and voting for the eventual nominee and actually stay home.
It's like a fish show, I guarantee you. The Hillary's best chance of getting Bernie supporters not to vote on Election Day is just walking down the line like they're at a Dead concert with their finger up selling acid. Oh, wait a minute, man. Like, Bernie's cool and all, but anyway. So now this was actually something that excited me. I think that, and for those of you who don't know, I know a lot of people hear the term jumping the shark. Where does jump the shark come from, Teddy and Stacey? For those of you who remember the Happy Days episode where Fonzie's in the leather jacket, and he's on water skis, and he does a ski jump like over this fake plastic shark?
Vaguely.
Okay, that literally, Happy Days went into the Pisha-Do, whoop, right from there. So that has always been, that's where the term jump the shark comes from. Like, oh, it just became so ridiculous. All right. Radical Islamist, Durka jihadi, death cult
Durka.
who want to do nothing but... Why, Scott?
Virgin.
Okay. Have officially jumped the shark. They have run out of things to put a fatwa on. This is from Fox News. Dubai's Islamic authorities issue fatwa against Wi-Fi theft. So now you know the guy next door that's stealing your password. You can now go cut his head off if you listen to the fatwa. Dubai's top religious authorities say that stealing Wi-Fi from your neighbor would not be proper Islamic conduct. I want you to keep in mind these are the same people who are okay with stoning women to death if they looked at a guy who wasn't their uncle. That's according to a religious edict known as a fatwa from Dubai's Islamic and Dubai has an Islamic affairs and charitable activities.
Oh, Durka.
This sounds like a casino. So Dubai has an Islamic affairs and charitable activities department. It was available online, you know how all the modern fatwas are put out there, that the edict says there is nothing wrong in using, oh God, they said the line. They said, there is nothing wrong in using... No, okay. There is nothing wrong with using the line, my friend. If your neighbors allow you to do so, my friend. But if they don't allow you, my friend, you may not use it, my friend. I have added all of my friends.
Oh, Durka.
No, I gotta read this again. There is nothing wrong in using the line...
You okay?
No, you have to understand something. I had a Bangladeshi cab driver when I was in Brooklyn the other night, and this is just reminding me of my conversation. Oh, my friend, how are you? Do you go on the line on the phone?
Okay, terrific.
I love this Zambian story. It's like a preview of a Trump presidency.
I had it behind the same one. So not to be outdone by Durkas issuing orders to have their neighbors' heads cut off over Wi-Fi theft, Zambian journalist arrested over president partying report. All I could hear was James Earl Jones' voice in my head from Cunning to America. I am King Jakri Jafra, ruler of Zamunda, and I have come for my son Akeem. My son works. Zambian police on Tuesday arrested 2 journalists over a story alleging that President Edgar Lungu, Edgar is not this guy's first given name, went nightclubbing and played pool at taxpayers' expense.
No. They were not jailed because it was untrue. They were jailed because it made him not look good.
No. I'm with you 110%. But here's my question.
Oh, God.
Number
I
one,
probably don't have an answer.
How many taxpayers are there in Zambia? And 2, what the hell is a Zambian nightclub about? Yes, good evening. I am ruler of country. Please come take your women and put on my lap. Yes, I will have big mug of beer. Get this thing. So, I mean, what was he? Was he like doing
These
blow?
people could go to jail. There's 3 people in jail for printing true stories about the Zambian president that he did not like that could spend 7 years in prison if convicted. Remember that? You remember that little comment little Donnie made about changing the First Amendment because he didn't like hit people? He should move to Zambia and be their president.
But hasn't anybody seen The Last King of Scotland? I mean, for God's sake, everybody knows about idiom. Okay, all right. I love this. I absolutely love this. So let's put the foo on the other shoot for a second, okay? Let's put the foo on the other shoot. Let's take a look at this. Okay? I'm not a moron. You're not a moron. If at any time on planet Earth I find myself partying with the president of Zambia, who, by the way, I haven't looked up the history. I figured got to where he is by hacking people with machetes, having the biggest fucking guards and the most guns, and probably has a life expectancy of about 7.5 years. So that being said, yeah, if I ever found myself, oh, yes, my friend, we're going to be partying all night long. So if you're just chilling out with, like, you know, the Zambian president and the champagne and the blow is flowing, and, you know, you just hear people like,
hey, where are the white women at?
Keep your mouth shut and don't write about it. Otherwise, it's going to be all. I mean, come on. Don't they know better, baby? Don't they know better? We have 20 seconds. You want to talk about lesbian Uber or Stephen Hawking in space?
It's not lesbian Uber. No, Stephen Hawking in outer space was too complex for me, honestly. It's really, I mean, as a woman, I don't think this is necessarily a bad idea. It's Uber with female drivers, because Uber and taxis and Lyfts get complaints about bad things happening to women when they ride alone.
You have 5 seconds. Is it lesbian Uber or is it not?
It's not.
JD votes yes on this lesbian Uber. However, baby, the fastest hour in conservative radio is wrapped up. This is that important in the evening when I look at my beautiful co-host and I say, baby girl, baby girl, baby girl, you got them keys?
Oh, God, please, yes, go.
Get me out of here. Tell the nice people where they can find you screaming at the clouds.
You can find me on @ScottsFire on Twitter, SCOTSFYRE, or Stacey Lennox on Facebook.
You can find me at GameOnJD in the Twitters. I'm sure in the cell phone of some shady hookers, and God knows I'm in the NSA database. I got a bulletproof vest on. My habits are going to kill me. Your nose dumper is going to take a shot at me. If I live through it, I'll see you guys Thursday night.
I'm looking for you, you Occupy freaks with your glitter bombs. Bring it on! Bring on the glitter. Everything has changed. Everything has changed in the last few years. Conservatives used to take it, and we're not taking it anymore.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com. If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
Did your parents have any children that lived?
Sir, yes, sir.
I bet they regret that. You're so ugly you could be a modern art masterpiece.